when we were feeding, remember we fed all the volunteers on Thursdays at St. Luke's lunch? Thursday, any volunteer group that was in the city could come to St. Luke's for lunch on Thursdays. And there was a church, First Assembly of God, and the ladies in that church committed to doing that for a year. And they would prepare the food and bring it over for the full year, and the groups could come and have a free meal. And when First Assembly stopped doing that after their year was up, and I mean those ladies, I mean they worked hard at doing that. They were just a wonderful group of women in that church that did that. So we decided, you know what, this is still a big thing. The volunteers come, so we're going to keep doing it. Well, we have very limited resources, and we just couldn't afford to spend the $100, you know, it was a week to do that, or $80 to $100 in food. So we said, well, you know what, we'll put a little basket out for donations, you know, because it's not like the volunteer groups coming are necessarily destitute. They just, you know, are coming there because it's a neat thing to gather, because you had groups from different organizations all showing up there, and you were able to talk. So we decided to do that, so we put a basket out on a thing, so well, we got to prime that with something. So I took all of the money in my pocket. Sounds like a lot, right? But you got to remember, I was here as a volunteer, which was like $3 or $4 or something. And I just put that money in that offering plate so people knew what it was. It was there for donations. Didn't think anything about it. Later that day, I'm getting gas at a gas station, and I go in and pay for the gas, and a guy says, Mister, this fell out of your pocket. And he holds up this wad of money. And I'm like, no, I said, it didn't fall out of my pocket because I didn't have any money. I said, I know I did. It's not mine. You know, it must be somebody else's. We'll give it to him inside. He says, no, I saw this fall out of your pocket. It came out of your pocket. It fell down, and it was there on the ground. And I'm like, and I'm arguing with a guy. It's not my money. It can't be my money. I didn't have any money. I had no money. I know I had no money. And it goes on and on, back and forth. Finally, I just said, okay, fine. So I take the money. And I go make a few more steps towards the gas station. And I turn around because now I'm going to go re-argue with this guy and give back this money because it's not mine, and he's gone. Wasn't in a car. He didn't come there in a car. He was just a person that was there, and he could not have walked any place fast enough to get out of my sight in those 2 steps that I made, and he was totally gone. You know, and that was God. God sent an angel. He just came back and said, well done, and turned my $4 or whatever I threw in an offering plate into $28 that day. And the team was going to be 80, which is too many people for us to handle. But I said, don't worry about it, because they're always less than they sign up. They'll never reach 80. They won't be there. Don't worry about it. I had them all convinced it was easy. It turns out 105 show up.
It was either 105, maybe it was 107. It was a lot. And so I'm a kind of a numbers guy, and so I did the arithmetic with the 4 showers that we have. It would take 5 hours if everybody took a 5-minute shower to shower. And so we knew we needed a shower trailer. And we started checking around, and it was $5,000 a week to rent a shower trailer. So that wasn't going to work. So we just kept looking. And on the last call, I think it was Kayla, called, and somebody said, well, we don't have one, but I know a church that has one. And you may want to give them a call. So we gave the church a call. Sure enough, they had a shower trailer, this shower trailer, that they weren't housing teams anymore and didn't have a need for it, would like it moved. And so it was going to be made. We called Kingdom Builders, and they said, yes, you can use the trailer. You can have the trailer to use, and you can have it for a year. And so we said, okay. And so now we had a trailer, and we had started working on it, and the team of 105 showed up on Saturday, and this was Thursday. But we kept believing the Lord, and so now what we had to do is get it moved. And you have to have permits and all kinds of things to move them from here, around here. And we had nobody to move it, so now it's Friday, and they show up on Saturday. And I just got in my car and I said, Holy Spirit, lead me to somebody that can move the trailer. So I just drove around some of the streets. And then I was directed to go to a truck stop that's right up here. And I got out and I asked the people that were working inside there, I said, do you know anybody that moves trailers? They said, yeah, I think we know a guy. And I said, well, can you call him or give us his phone number? And so they called him, and he agreed to meet me at the truck stop. So he came over and we met 30 minutes later or something like that. And he said, well, I'll meet you this afternoon out where the trailer is, and I'll tell you whether I can do it or not. So it was about 20 miles from here west at a church in Kenner. And so we get out there, and there's the trailer, and I think the tires were flat, and there, there were all kinds of the normal things that you have to do to deal with a trailer. And he looked at it and said, well, I can haul it. And I told him where we wanted to haul it. We wanted to haul it over here on Vanderkloof. We want to put it by the church. And he said, well, I have a house on Crowder, which is the exit off of the interstate that you get off of when you're coming here. And I said, oh yeah, where? And he told me, and I said, I know exactly where you are. I said, well, we have volunteer. Where do you stand in rebuilding your house? And he said, oh, it hasn't been mudded out and gutted out, and it needs a roof and a lot of things. And I said, well, we have volunteers that can come in and help with that. And I said, what do you want to move the trailer? And he said, well, you help me with my house, I'll move the trailer. And so I said, well, we'll get volunteers there to help you. And so we started talking about where the trailer was going to be moved, and we have a form that we fill out. It's called a project worksheet. You guys worked off of one all this week. So we need to fill a project worksheet out on your house. And so Kayla was there doing it, I think, and she said, what's your name? And his name is David Rakes. And Kayla said, are you any relationship to Marguerite? And I believe his name was Rakes. And he said, that's my mother and father. And volunteer teams had rebuilt their house for it. And so he brought the trailer here for us. We got it all hooked up. The teams were able to take showers. We brought them in waves. And we had volunteers that mudded and gutted his house and put a new roof on it. So that's just, we needed a trailer and the Lord provided.
This porch that you're sitting on, this used to be seashells. Seashells and dirt on the floor, and a couple of holes and a tin roof. And that was it. There were no windows. There was nothing. This was all done. This was all done by volunteers. All done by volunteers that came here, stayed at the church, and you notice there's no windows in the church anywhere in the building. Before this was an Assembly of God church, it was a Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall. That's why the windows are all blocked off. You can see where there used to be windows at one point, and they ripped over the windows. So there was no place you could go and set outside. I mean, it's too hot to think about sitting out there in the summertime, or in the winter it's cool and all that. And this porch was like, had a group of guys come in that were concrete contractors. Said, man, we really like to pour this floor out here on this thing. Boom, next thing we got a floor poured out on a thing. And then Ezra
and they were from California.
They were from California, and then Ezra Milhoff from Minnesota, who had come down several times. And someday I hope you guys get a chance to meet Ezra. Folks from Minnesota are a little different. My son-in-law is one of them. But Ezra calls me up and he says, Hey, I just put all my stuff in the storage. I'll see you tomorrow. And he showed up on our doorstep the next day and was here for about 3 or 4 months. But this was Ezra's project, building and putting everything in the windows and finishing the whole thing off.
I would recommend that everyone at least takes an opportunity to go on a mission trip and serve somebody else. First, we're commanded by Scripture to do that, and I think that we are to serve those that are less fortunate than ourselves. And it doesn't matter where we are on the social ladder, there's always people that are less fortunate than ourselves. And Scripture is very clear that we serve a God that cares for the poor and the downtrodden and the widow and the orphan. And we should have that same longing in our hearts. And so when we go and serve other people, I've found that it's during these times, even though we're going and helping somebody else, that God uses that time to speak to our hearts. And it allows us to first realize how blessed and privileged we are, but more importantly, how much we don't need to what we think we do need. And it gets us out of that selfish attitude. And we're able to look to other people's needs before our own. And even if it's just for the week after, the month after, the year after, that begins to transform your heart and your mind when you come back to your community. And you begin to think about others, and you sometimes maybe even can look at things from a different perspective. I love different cultures, and usually when you go and serve, you serve outside of your community, and I just enjoy learning about other cultures and bringing the parts of their culture that I enjoy back to where I live, because I don't think that we always do everything right, and it's so easy to get caught up in the everyday life and just what's normal to you, that we never take the opportunity to learn about other people and to think about other people.